Oh, yeah. 337 sunspots observed August 8th, which is the Lion's Portal Gate date. Wow. The most sunspots observed in 20 years. Last time that many sunspots were observed was in March of 2001, and that was also about the time when the aurora borealis was seen around the world. We're seeing that right now. Quite incredible. Read all about it at space.com. The sun might have had a record-breaking number of visible sunspots. Hundreds of sunspots were estimated to occur within 24 hours. And read all about it. I'll leave the link in the video description box. But let's talk about the latest information. Let's look at the weekend outlook forecast highlights today directly from NOAA. I don't know if you have any fun plans today, if you're going to go hiking or biking or kayaking this weekend. But let's take a look at what's going on. Region 3784 is a large group that encompasses an area of 4 times the size of Earth. It has intermixed magnetic polarities. Note the opposite colors immediately adjacent to each other and the NASA SDO images there. Real quick, 1 minute here. Are you worried about the future of the U.S. economy? With so much uncertainty in the air, it's natural to be concerned about the security of your retirement and your retirement savings. But there's one asset that stands the test of time: gold. For centuries, gold has been a hedge against market volatility and economic instability. And with the Gold IRA from Noble Gold Investments, you can harness the power of precious metals to help protect your financial future. By rolling over your existing IRA or 401k into a self-directed gold IRA, you can enjoy the potential for long-term growth and stability. Diversify your portfolio with a tangible asset that has real value. Setting up your gold IRA has never been easier with Noble Gold Investments' streamlined process and expert guidance. This election year, don't let election volatility and uncertainty keep you up at night. Vote for the timeless safety of gold and silver in 2024. Noble Gold Investments will give you up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar if you open up a qualified account. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com right now. That's noblegoldinvestments.com, or you can go to leapprojectgold.com and get the free ebooks. Call 1-877-646-5347 now. And let's get back to the presentation. Buckle up, Buttercup. And this region has a history of flare production and erupted with an R3 event early on the 14th of August. So that X1 flare was associated with radio observatory reports that indicated the likelihood of a coronal mass ejection, and yet another coronal mass ejection may arrive on the 17th, which is tomorrow, here on planet Earth. Have you been there? It's pretty cool. Oh, yeah. I check it out. Now, the next article I'd like to share with you is very cool. It's from space.com. Intense solar storm opens two-way highway for charged particles, sparking rare auroras on the sun. Now, these are particles trapped by Earth's magnetism and suddenly had an escape a direct path to the sun. This is an artist illustration, and it reminds me of some of the petroglyphs that we see of like the Squatter Man, where he's doing stuff like this, or maybe even behind me when you think of the Nagas, the serpents, the Squatter Man, and what looks kind of like a menorah-headed Squatter Man behind me also. Could there be a connection with the sun and the planets and the aurora borealis? I think so. This is from BBC.com, and I wanted to share this with you because it seems there's been a lot of news portraying solar doom lately. I say be prepared, not scared. It's always about opportunities. I think we'll be okay, but this is the superstorm from space that could end modern life. BBC News. The sun is going through a period of high activity, but it's nothing compared to an enormous solar event that slammed into our planet 14,000 years ago. If one were to occur today, the effect on Earth could be devastating. The oldest trees on Earth date back 5,000 years, living through all manner of events. They have stood through the rise and fall of the Roman Empire, the birth of Christianity, the European discovery of the Americas, and the first moon landing. Trees can even be fossilized in soil underground, giving us a connection through the past 30,000 years. Now, this is interesting because they're talking about an event that took place about 800 years ago, which I think we've uncovered in certain petroglyphs. Nobody was expecting a brief event to appear, says Edouard Bard, a climatologist at the Collège de France in Paris. But in 2012, a then PhD student called Fusa Miyake, now a cosmic ray physicist at Nagoya University in Japan, made an astonishing discovery studying Japanese cedar trees. She discovered a huge spike in a type of carbon known as carbon-14 in a single year. This was about 800 years ago. And after doubting the data at first, Miyake and her colleagues soon came to an unnerving conclusion that the spike in carbon-14 must have come from something injecting huge numbers of particles into our atmosphere. And since this radioactive isotope of carbon is produced when high energy particles strike nitrogen in the atmosphere, once linked perhaps to cosmic events like supernova, studies have also since suggested another probable cause, a monster burst of particles thrown out by the sun. And these would be generated by superflares far bigger than anything we've seen in the modern era. They require an event that's at least 10 times bigger than anything we've observed, says Matthew Owens, a space physicist at the University of Reading in the UK. The first recorded solar flare sighting dates back to the middle of the 19th century and are associated with great geomagnetic storms like the Carrington event of 1859. So they collected these samples from places like Antarctica and Greenland. Listen to this. 7 well-studied events are known to have occurred over the past 15,000 years. 7. Wow. Recently, a colossal X-class solar flare erupted from the rule-breaking sunspot, and Earth is in the firing line. We could expect even more eruptions from this sunspot region in the coming days, according to space.com. You know what I found kind of interesting? So August 8th, Lionsgate, the Lions portal date, right? 337 sunspots are observed. I used to see that number a lot, 337. Back about 15 years ago, there was a span of time where 337 would come up all the time, more often than not. But 337, and then they had an abbreviation of sunspots to SSN, right? Did you notice that in the article, SSN? Well, guess what else just happened? And this news is from yesterday. Hackers may have stolen the social security numbers of every American. Here's what to know. ABC7.com. Social security number, SSN. So, I don't know. Just an interesting coincidence. It could be the worst data breach ever. One that reportedly resulted in the theft of every American social security number. According to a federal class action lawsuit, the hacking group claims to have stolen personal information of nearly 3 billion people from National Public Data, which is a background check company. Well, last I checked, there was, 300 and something million in America? So 3 billion people, that's half the world. Half the world's data has been breached, according to this article, allegedly. The stolen information also includes names, addresses, birth certificates, phone numbers. And then it goes on to say the hackers have reportedly released most of the data for free on an online marketplace. And then it goes on to say, well, what do you do if your personal info has been exposed in a data breach? Be aware, in the United States, there's no federal law compelling companies or organizations to notify individuals of data breaches, but it's standard practice for them to inform affected customers and often provided identity protection services, said Aran Arar, vice president of consumer privacy at cybersecurity companies Malwarebytes. The situation is better in the European Union, where the 27 nation bloc's privacy regulations require disclosure of certain types of breaches. I mean, 3 billion people in one hack? Think about that. How many times this year have we read about some type of hack that's taken place, personal information that's been taken, or maybe something with utilities or power plants or regulators, the car companies getting held up by ransomware? This is sign of the times, right? With all the computers and stuff like that. And I wonder what new measures will be taking place when 3 billion people's information gets stolen and then shared online for free. Most of it. I wonder if anything's going to change. Very interesting. So be prepared, not scared. And then also, this is interesting. So Mark Spitznagel warns a recession might happen this year, Fortune.com. Black Swan Hedge Fund warns a recession is coming this year, and the biggest market bubble in history will soon pop. Mark is the founder and chief investment officer of Universa Investments. I'll leave the link for that in the video description box. How's house sales going? Interest rates, what? Here's some more unsettling news from AP News. A Northern Arizona University professor emeritus who analyzed soil, water, and vegetation samples taken along a popular hiking and biking trail in Acid Canyon said Thursday that there were more extreme concentrations of plutonium found there than at other publicly accessible sites he has researched in his decades-long career. Wow. And that includes land around the federal government's former weapons plant at the Rocky Flats in Colorado. Geez, Acid Canyon, what a name, huh? Let's check that out. Oh, man. Acid Canyon on all trails. 4.6 out of 5 stars. Check this out. Discover this 0.9-mile loop trail near Los Alamos, New Mexico. Generally considered a moderately challenging route, it takes an average of 23 minutes to complete. It's a popular trail for birding, hiking, and running, but you can still enjoy some solitude during quieter times of the day. The best times to visit the trail are March through October. Dogs are welcome, but must be on a leash. Oh, well, that's wonderful. Oh, man. Oh, geez. And then you can see the stories here. Watchdogs want U.S. to address extreme plutonium contamination in Los Alamos, Acid Canyon. It's okay, though. Bring your dogs. Just keep them on a leash. From 1943 to 1964, nuclear weapons research activities at Los Alamos National Laboratory produced liquid effluent wastes from general laboratory chemistry and radiochemistry operations. By 1951, a treatment plant was constructed on the south rim of Acid Canyon to remove plutonium and other radionuclides from the waste streams originating from the original main laboratory technical area. The treated and untreated wastes were discharged from the main acid sewer line, which terminated at the head of the South Fork of Acid Canyon. These effluents contained a variety of radioactive materials, including tritium and isotopes of strontium, cesium, uranium, plutonium, and americium. That sounds amazing. Americium. It's even more powerful than plutonium. Oh, yeah. Americium. Wow. Even after all the excavations, they're still tracking more plutonium there. This is vegetation from Acid Canyon and Lower Los Alamos Canyon near Los Alamos after being milled as part of a sampling project. See how many microsieverts we're getting there. Or joules, microjoules. What do they call it? Qatar teamed up with the group Nuclear Watch New Mexico to gather samples in July, a rainy period that often results in isolated downpours, stormwater runoff coursing through canyons, and otherwise dry arroyos. Water was flowing through Acid Canyon when the samples were taken. The work followed mapping done by the group earlier this year. The U.S. Department of Energy Environmental Management Los Alamos Field Office said Thursday in a statement to the Associated Press that the information presented by Ketterer and Nuclear Watch is consistent with department data and has been publicly available for years, and that the canyon remains safe for unrestricted use. The field office continues to collect and monitor sediment and water samples in the Acid Canyon area, and the results have consistently shown the levels of plutonium remain very low and well within the safe exposure ranges, it said. That's lovely. I want to know how much is in there. This is an unrestricted area, and I've never seen anything quite like it in the United States, the professor told reporters. It's just an extreme example of very high concentrations of plutonium in soils and sediments. Really, it's hiding in plain sight. If you ask me, things are getting a bit out of hand. Listen to this. This is some more unfortunate news about the environment and people attempting to get clean drinking water. Computer simulations suggest more than half of people on Earth have limited access to safe drinking water. A multi-institutional team of environmental scientists have built a computer simulation showing that more than half of the people globally have limited access to safe drinking water. The findings are published in the journal Science. But don't worry. Batman's going to save us. Shark Tank star Kevin O'Leary says he thinks Elon Musk is a modern-day Bruce Wayne. I think that guy is a modern-day Bruce Wayne. If he got involved with government, it would be a good thing for everybody in America, Kevin O'Leary said of Elon Musk. especially when he hooks you up to the brain chip and then you're connected to Starlink. You'll have internet everywhere you go. You're going to love it. Now, even though Kevin O'Leary thinks Elon Musk is like Batman, now who knows if this is true or not, but Fortune says Tesla CEO Elon Musk may be forced to sell billions of dollars worth of shares in the EV leader to plug a financial hole in his struggling social media company, X. Well, I'm sure the left would love that. But don't worry, folks. Don't worry about the AI takeover, because the debrief. Despite dire warnings, new research reveals AI poses no existential threat to humanity. So take all the Starlink microchips you want directly into the forehead, and you're going to love it. You can start your car from your thoughts. You can play ping pong, in your head. It's going to be amazing. The findings published as part of the 62nd annual meeting of the Association for Computational Linguistics challenged the prevailing fears that advanced AI technologies could evolve beyond human control, leading to unintended and potentially catastrophic consequences. Well, now I definitely want to buy a Tesla bot, because I won't worry about it choking me in my sleep and taking over the world. Professional burglars, suspects in $1.7 million theft ring came to the U.S. illegally, Florida sheriff says. Now, these guys were pretty crafty. And one gal, Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd, held a news conference on Thursday afternoon to discuss the results of a months-long investigation into a theft ring that targeted local businesses across 6 Florida counties. Officials provided details Thursday about a 17-month investigation of a South American theft group that burglarized homes and made off with about $1.7 million worth of property. It's not new to this country. In fact, we have groups from Colombia and South America working all across the United States as we speak, Judd said during the news conference. They're focusing on high-end houses. They're focusing on business owners. According to Judd, all 4 suspects in this case had come across the southern U.S. border illegally and were living in Florida. The stolen property consisted of cash, high-end jewelry, and other luxury goods. They are professional burglars, he explained. This is organized criminal conduct in retail facilities. Judd said the 4 suspects would go to local Asian American restaurants, photograph the interiors, and determine who the owners are ahead of the burglaries. They had Wi-Fi jammers to help bypass alarm systems. They set up surveillance and counter-surveillance, Judd said. They followed these people to their homes, then they photographed their homes, and they looked at their alarm systems and the cameras in the neighborhood. After monitoring the victims for a while and figuring out their patterns, the suspects would then go on the attack, Judd stated. They will dress in lawn maintenance equipment uniforms. They will ride scooters through the neighborhood. They'll be wearing jogging clothes, Judd said. And once they see the path is clear, that's when they break in and steal large amounts of items. According to Judd, these cases have popped up in Polk County, as well as Pasco, Pinellas, Manatee, Hillsborough, and Collier counties. But there are many other burglaries, and in addition to that, these folks came through areas like Kansas and New York, Judd said. One of the businesses had to close down because of the amount of goods that were stolen. The 4 suspects were eventually apprehended after a deputy assigned to Eagle Lake pulled them over for a traffic stop. It's getting more intense. Technology, wow. I think they've been watching a lot of spy movies or something to figure that out. But really, that makes, like, where do you, I don't know. I'm just here reporting the news, ladies and gentlemen. You make up your own decisions. What do you think about this? I want to read your comments in the comments section. Check back daily for new content. I hope you have a beautiful day. Hit the bell, be well. Watch out for solar flares and coronal mass ejections. But enjoy the aurora borealis, right? And maybe it's time to go to Turkey. Darren Kuyu, they've got a deep underground base out there that'll hold tens of thousands of people in case that the solar radiation gets a little too intense out here. I wonder if maybe that's what it was made for 6,000 plus years ago. Solar radiation? Protect yourself. I don't know. Be the change you want to see?